Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, Rachaa Qadash, the ones to the head elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well, teach well. Also, I want to give a shout out there to the hopeful elect, to Yahawah, and to Yahawah who are sincerely in His truth, as well as believers of this work, not just believers, but doers as well. And of course, unto you, again, I'd like to say Shalom. All right, this is just going to be another quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahawah, man. All right, and as you know, hey, the saints of Yahawah are always in the spirit of prophecy. Okay, they're always in the spirit of prophecy, starting with the head elders and apostles, a great millstone on down. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard, okay, about this peace, this 2 weeks peace, vows of peace between Iran and U.S. Okay, but as we all know, we in the season of the birth pains, man. Okay, at one moment you may have peace, and then another moment, out of nowhere, there's pain. Okay, so that's what season that we're in. So you're gonna see a lot of that wavering, the evils and everything wavering, the wars and rumors of wars, wavering up and down. Okay. But as you can see, I have this article here at Alabama.com. It says Iran reverses course on key ceasefire demand as attacks continue. So here it is. They had a ceasefire demand, but the attacks are continuing, okay, between Israel and these different so-called Middle East countries, okay, mainly Lebanon. All right, as you just heard, they just had a great attack on Lebanon. Matter of fact, we're going to read into it. It says Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz again Wednesday in response to Israeli attacks against the Hezbollah militant group in Lebanon, causing doubt over whether an already precarious ceasefire to end more than a month of war will hold. So they showing you, man, that shit ain't even gonna hold, man. All right, but we gonna see, okay? As we know, the men who are watching, we're on the edge of our seats right now, okay, watching prophecy, seeing the things that's going on, all right? But that's the spirit, man. Just me thinking as a man, I kind of feel like that was going to be bullshit anyway when they said they wanted a 2-week ceasefire, because when you consider the whore, she have lied and deceived so many nations so many times, to where everybody is tired of her shit. And the scriptures speak about that, how the beast shall hate the whore. Okay, these different NATO nations, they're gonna hate the whore. All right, but not only that, you got her enemies as well. They're starting to hate her more and more. These countries that was once considered weak, okay, they got the mindset of they're strong now. As a matter of fact, the scriptures speak upon that. And let me see if I can get that real quick. Let's see if I can get that. Let the weak. Yep, Joel 3:10. Now this is the spirit of these different small countries. Okay, these different nations who Babylon the Great again, who basically fell victim to the deceit and the lies of Babylon the Great. All right, this is Joel 3 and verse 10. It says, beat your plowshares into swords. And matter of fact, Salakia, I'm going to jump up. Let's get verse 9, Joel 3 and 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And that's what you have here. You got the nature of the weak, these countries that, a lot of these Americans despise or look down upon. All right. They're considered as the weak. All right. But now here those countries are showing themselves as to be strong. All right. Here it is. They're gathering up their own weapons. They have joined up to these other major countries, okay, throughout the earth. And now they're showing themselves to be strong, especially against the whore. All right, mainly Iran, of course, obviously Iran. Here it is. This is a country that was that Trump looked down upon, a country he thought that he can really just stump all over. But now, nigga, you making a peace treaty. You trying to make vows to have a ceasefire with them, man. Because they really going at it. They going toe to toe with your ass, man. You see? And it's ultimately because these nations has the spirit of Yahawashi upon them. Okay? Which falls into, prophecy. It's all prophecy on how the whore, she's not gonna prosper no more, man. She's in the days of her downfall. All right, but let's continue to read this in verse 11. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Okay, and it says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So, and this is going into that the battle, Armageddon. Okay, where the Lord is going to bring them into that land. Okay, that ultimately Saudi Arabia. All right, the land where He's going to judge all these different nations, because at the end of the day, these nations are going to join one another and fight against Yahawashi, but they will not be successful. All right, but continuing on, going back to the point. All right, as the scripture says, when they shall say peace and safety, there's sudden destruction. Let's go back to this article. All right, I think I was in the second paragraph. It says the United States and Iran both claimed victory after reaching the agreement, and it says, and world leaders expressed relief, even as more drones and missiles hit Iran and Gulf Arab countries. It says Israel also intensified its attacks in Lebanon, hitting several commercial and residential areas in Beirut without warning. At least 112, which is more than that. The number is increased. All right, but it says 112 people were killed and hundreds were wounded. And one of the deadliest days in the latest Israel-Hezbollah war. So, you got violence going on right now over there in the so-called Middle East. And there's a little bit more on that. Let me see. Yeah, this is really, that's the point I really want, to be honest. But going back to the point once again, the title of the lesson, when they shall say peace and safety, as the scripture said. All right, because you people got to understand that this is all the Most High's movie. Okay, at the end of the day, even us, the ones who are on the edge of their seat watching this movie play out. Okay, all right, it's all of Yahawashi at the end of the day, and we're gonna get that what is that? 1 Thessalonians 5:1. It says, but other times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that are right unto you. So yeah, you brethren that are in this council, you are very well aware of what's going on. You know what time we in. It says, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. All right, we know that no man knoweth the day nor the time, but we know the season. All right, we are aware of the season. Because remember, when you go to Matthew, the 24th chapter, starting with the 3rd verse on down, the Lord is warning you of the signs before His return. Okay, it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, and that's what the people are saying, peace and safety. Okay, 2 weeks of ceasefire, the people are looking for peace. All right, it says then sudden destruction cometh upon them, and that's what you had. You still had bombs being dropped. All right, sudden destruction. When they thought it was all over, another bomb dropped, man. And it says, as travail upon a woman with child, they shall not escape. So here it is, those pains, those birth pains, they come, as travail upon a woman with child. Meaning you ain't gonna be expecting them to come, man. But you in the season of going into labor, You see? But before that, that labor come, you have those contractions. All right, which knows you're at the end. Okay, shows you that you're at the end, man. So that's what we're seeing, man. We're seeing the contractions, and the contractions, they come and go. All right. So, Hey, brothers, just keep watching, man, because at the end of the day, it's Yahawah's movie. All right, remember the scripture say, what is it? The heart of the kings. King is in the hands of the Lord. Let me see if I can get that real quick. Yep, because the Lord, He's turning it whithersoever He goes. Matter of fact, let me see. What is that, man? Damn, it's been a minute since I got that. Let me see if I can find that real quick. The king's heart. Hold on. Let me see. Damn, what is that, man? Salaki, bear with me. Yeah, let me see. Proverbs. Call out, yeah, but no shot. There's Proverbs 21:1. It says the king's heart. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, He turneth it whatsoever He will. So the minds of these different kings of these nations are in the hands of the Lord. Like I mentioned, this is Yahawashi movie. Okay? Scripture speak about how man's going is of the Lord. Therefore, how can a man understand his own way? Roughly paraphrasing. All right? The reason why these people don't understand, or even the kings himself don't understand why they're acting the way they're acting, or even why they're as proud as the way they are, is because their minds is in the hands of Yahawashi, man. Okay? As it says, as the rivers of water, He turneth it whithersoever He will. As the waters of water, man, you know what I mean? And it's the spirit. I'm looking at water right now going through a creek. Okay, and I can see how it's turning through the rocks. You know what I mean? And that's how the Lord is. It's smoothly turned through the rocks. The cracks of the different rocks that I'm looking at right now. And that's how the Lord is with the mind of these different kings, man. All right, however He wanted to go, that's where it's gonna go, man. This thus said the Lord. All right, so yeah, man, just keep watch. As the scriptures speak about, keep watch, stay prudent. Because guess what? We in that season, man, of the end. So I'm going to leave it with that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Till next time, I'd like to say, Shalom.